What's up, guys? We are back. Fitness Profit Multiplier, Anthony and Jimmy. Today, we're going to be talking about how to remove yourself from the day to day. And I love this one because removing myself from day to day I think it was a fun process. And it's actually pretty cool to step back and realize that you're still making the same amount of money, if not actually more now. So it's a cool feeling to have. And you also get the thing that I love the most, which is freedom. The ability to choose, do I feel like working today or do I not feel like working today? Not being bound by the clock, not being bound by, oh, I have to go in for another client. Oh, I got to be up early today because I have an early morning client. We're going to talk about how to remove yourself from the day to day. Yeah. And it's just a nice feeling. It's really nice to have the ability to choose.
And for me, it was harder than we're going to make it seem on this episode. It's a hard thing to do sometimes when you kind of have done everything for your business for a while. But the moment in which I really appreciated the fact that I had to remove myself from a lot of things was in August. I went on vacation. So I went to Hawaii for a week. And I hadn't gone on many vacations because for me, this is personal share, but when I'm single, I don't really go on vacations. I go with my significant other, but when I'm single, I'm like, who am I going to go with? I'm going to go somewhere by myself. I don't really like doing that, right? So this year, I finally went on vacation again, and I looked at my bank because I had to run payroll, right? Because I still run payroll for the gym, but I was running payroll, and I went and ran payroll and looked at my bank account and everything. And I was like, oh, awesome. You're in Hawaii, you're having a great time. And you look at your bank account and you look
at you had to run payroll from Hawaii?
I ran payroll when I was in Hawaii. Yeah. I just clicked but
yeah, it's not that big of a deal, actually. I still run payroll too. I for some reason, man, and this is the beautiful part, and I've talked about this so many times. It's your business. You can do whatever you want in it. Right. Like you said, payroll is a button. I kind of like doing payroll. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe at some point I won't, but it doesn't really bother me to do payroll.
Yeah, it's just you check some numbers, you click a button, you check in on how many hours your staff's working, and you see what's going out, and you're like, okay, this is okay. And that kind of gets you in touch with the numbers. You could outsource it to an admin, I guess, but who cares? So I'm running payroll, and I run the payroll. I look at the account and I go, I made more money than I made the month before. And I've been on vacation for 5 days. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. This can run. This is great, And then now I'm coaching a high school wrestling team this season. And that's 3 hours a day plus tournaments on Saturdays that are all day long. And I can do that. And my gym is still making more money, right? So it's cool when you get to that point, but how do you do it? That's what we're really talking about today, is how do you do that? And how do you make sure that that's actually happening? And I think the first thing is doing a time block, figuring out.
Well, actually, wait, before you get into it, Jimmy, I just want to say one thing. When I did this, right, it's almost like, okay, I never want to touch this thing again, right? I want to take training off my plate. I never want to touch it again. But that's not really the best mentality to go around with it. You're still the owner of the business. You still have to lead by example. So if the first task you take off your plate is cleaning the gym and you see the gym as a mess, you still have to fix whoever delegated that, fix that situation. But don't be afraid to pick up a mop still. That's not what we're saying.
Right.
We're not saying okay, you're not going to clean up the gym, but if you see a mess, point to somebody else and make them clean it. Yes, you should go back to the systems that you created and all these things we're going to talk about, but don't be afraid to actually there are times when I have to step in and train a session. There are times when Jimmy has to jump in and train a session. There's times when Jimmy probably has to clean his gym too. There's times where I have to clean my gym and do things. So we're not saying that. It's not like you're never going to have to do these things again, but you're going to fall back to these systems that we're going to explain. But I just wanted to say that before you explain. So Go ahead, man.
It's not getting rid of all of it. It's you're still an owner, you still have pride in your business, you still have to make sure things run properly. And then you do those tasks. And if you're not the person that was intended to do that task at that time, then, and somebody else dropped the ball, that's a management issue. So that's you managing your staff and identifying those things, right? So it's not you just saying, oh, I'm done with this, it's not happening. But the first step is understanding and realizing what are the things that you want to get rid of and what are the things that you're supposed to get rid of first. And what are the things that you're spending your time doing? And it takes a little while because you're so used to, okay, I'm going to train this session and then I'm going to go, fix this billing issue. And then I'm going to call this client that had a cancellation request. And then I'm going to sit in this sales meeting and I'm going to build this ad. And then I'm going to build this graphic and then go into the evening sessions and train all the evening sessions. And then I'm going to clean the gym. And then, oh yeah, I got to order that equipment that the gym needs, right? Or I got to put that thing up on the wall, right? And you run around like a chicken with your head cut off doing every little thing, not realizing what tasks you should be getting rid of, what tasks you should be keeping, in what order you should be getting rid of them, the whole nine, right? And even though we just mentioned like we still run payroll, which is technically an administrative task because it's just clicking a button, we've decided to keep that task. But you deciding to keep the task of cleaning the gym every day could be something that you decide to do, but is probably the first thing that goes. But the way you're going to determine how you're spending your time and what you're doing is doing a time block. And the easiest way to determine and recognize what the tasks are that you're actually doing for the gym is to do a time block for a week. Every half hour, you list what it is that you did in that half hour, what you spent your time doing. And this may be an eye-opener for you to be like, oh, well, I'm not actually working that hard. I need to be spending more time selling. I need to be spending more time doing this or that, right? But it's a great way to determine how you're spending your time, what you're doing with your time, and then starting to delete the things that are time sucks that aren't cash producing activities. Because as you boil it down, the highest paid person in a business is the person that's producing the most cash or taking the most risk, right? So those are the things that you need to be doing. Your administrative assistant is taking the least risk and producing the least cash, right? Your person cleaning the gym is taking the least risk and producing the least cash. All of these things are important for the overall structure of your business and making the client experience awesome. But we have to look at it from a perspective of what does the hierarchy look like? Because the hierarchy really looks like this. On top, you have visionary, owner, management, CEO, whatever it may be, right? Then under that, you're going to have marketing. Marketing is kind of on the same line here. Marketing, and then you're going to have like an integrator, like the manager of the entire operation, right? Like an actual middleman manager. Then you're going to have sales under that. And in our realm, a lot of times that manager is doing the sales as well, right? Then you're going to have trainers, and in between there, you might have sales assistants, right? People that kind of assist the salesperson or assist the manager. You're going to have trainers, you're going to have administrative staff, and you're going to have gym cleaning and that kind of stuff, right? Kind of in that order. So how do you need to give up the tasks? You give them up from the bottom first, right? So putting in a billing request, emailing a client something about their billing, or tracking down a credit card, or entering a new person into your system, cleaning the gym, organizing the office, sending out letters, sending out, whatever snail mail you're sending out, those promos, right? Ordering equipment, ordering consumables, right? Those kinds of things need to be farmed out immediately. Like that's the first thing to farm out, right? And if you don't feel comfortable farming it out,
I would say cleaning too. I would add cleaning to that.
That's in that same vein, right? So you farm those things out. If you don't know how you're going to farm those things out, because you're like, well, I do it this way. Do your time block, then record exactly how you do each task so you can train somebody else to do it. The biggest thing that I hear from gym owners that I hate, oh, well, my trainers can't do it as well as me. Oh, well, my staff can't do it as well as I can. Yes, they can. Why do you think that there are so many different businesses out there in the United States? and competing businesses with thousands of employees, right? If Bill Gates said, oh, I'm the only one that can write this software the way that I can write it, he would be nowhere near where he is. They have tons of employees. Google, Facebook, Microsoft. I'm talking about big businesses, but even businesses that are smaller, right? You have a bunch of employees that do it. So you believing that you do it best, or you know the system, so you're just going to do it, and oh, it's easier if I do it myself, is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's the thing that keeps you from scaling and keeps you from growing. You can't be everywhere. You can't be everything to everyone. And your best time is spent thinking about how you can carry out your vision and carry out the business that you intended to build in the first place. So you sitting there scrubbing the gym floor or ordering towels for the towel dispenser don't have anything to do with you building your vision. I could even argue that you training people on the floor doesn't have anything to do with you building your vision. It's something that's necessary and something that you need to do, but I would even argue that. So as we move up the chain, you build the process and the system around the task that you're trying to give up. So you have that administrative task. Ordering towels. How do you order towels? Well, you go to this website, you click this button, you click submit. This is the card that you have, da, 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 da. You write it all out. You have somebody watch you do it. They then do it and you watch them, and then they got it and they do it on their own. That's typical administrative stuff. Training's a little bit different in terms of coaching somebody up to run your system, but that's the simplest way I can put it, how you're going to get rid of this stuff. And then in the future, you do the time block again a couple weeks later, and you go, oh crap, I'm doing admin work again. I need to give this to X person, because you'll find yourself going back in and doing stuff, right, that you shouldn't be doing. So you got to time block again and get rid of it again. And then have that trigger in your head, like every time you log into this client management software and do something, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You complete the task, or like you're cleaning the gym, you go, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You complete the task, but then you go, okay, how am I structuring this to farm it out to make sure that I'm not the one spending my time doing that, right? So that's the long and short of it, and getting rid of those tasks, and that's the way that I would structure it, right?
Yeah, one of the things, creating, so Jimmy did a wonderful job of like outlining where you have to go. The next thing you have to do is create this system. And we talked about this in other episodes before, so I'm not going to get into it. You guys can go in there and click through and listen to that one we created on creating systems. But there's a great quote by James Clear, and I had to look it up because I couldn't remember exactly what it said, but it says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So if something's not getting done, it just means that the system for it that you put together is not working. So you need to figure that out and fix that. So systems I love systems. I love building out the systems. I think that that's one of my strong suits, making it as clear as day to somebody to understand the task that they need to be doing. But the systems is what's going to save you. And then going in and tweaking the system to make the end product better. There's always going to be, and we talked about this on that episode, so I don't want to get into it again, but really quick, if I told Jimmy, hey, Jimmy, your job every day is to go and make the bed, but I never explained to him how I want the bed to be made, I'm setting him up for failure. So if you want to remove yourself from the day-to-day, you have to have that system laid out as clear as possible. So this way you can reliably not be doing anything and your gym still be running. So we've been through, I've created systems before and they didn't work and I had to change them. And again, I feel like there's always certain things that are going to be tweaked because certain things in the business change and you have to figure out how to tweak them. But like cleaning the gym, how differently can the gym be cleaned? Mop, vacuum, sweep, dust the machines. Like we all know what needs to be done. Just put it in a system and that's never going to need to get touched again. And then if it doesn't, then you need to manage the person who's doing that and say, hey, Jimmy, you're doing a terrible job. Well, don't say it like that, but And Jimmy, you could be doing a lot better with, there's still a little dust here. We need to, work on that. So make sure you create these systems and these plays to run so that if your child was coming into the gym, they could do all the tasks. It's that clear for them. So that's just what I wanted to add on top of that. But yeah, guys, if you need help with any of this stuff, you can just click that link below, hop on a call with us, and we'll be more than happy to get on there and leave your credit card at home, and we'll talk all about your business and how we can help you get to that next level. But anything else you have to say about this, man? I think we beat it up pretty good.
Yeah, it's literally find the task, outline what you do every day, look at what you want to get rid of, build a system around what you want to get rid of, and spend the time teaching somebody else how to do it and check their work, right? Because you may think that that's a daunting task and it takes you a lot longer to do than doing it yourself. That's the problem, because then you're going to be stuck doing it all the time, every time. And that doesn't scale a business. So it may take a little bit of time to teach somebody, but the hours you save over time teaching somebody how to do it are immeasurable in the amount of growth that you can have from focusing on the real things that are going to grow your business, as opposed to the day-to-days, and will give you that sense of freedom that you can finally have, that you got into creating your own business for in the first place.
All right, guys, Anthony and Jimmy, Fitness Profit Multiplier, we are